Hello, it's me, Sam Doll, and I'm bringing you the newest episode of Weird Mind Newsroom. Episode 9, I think. In this one, we're going to talk about new releases, all the big ones of this week, the trailers, and all the news that came out this week as well. So, let's get right to it, shall we?
Come on, Barbie, let's go party.
And our first release of this week, I have one question for you. Who's ready for Barbie, bitches? Yes, after a long time coming, and thankfully recasting of the main lead from much more disastrous choice beforehand, we have finally now have the week of the release of the all-new live-action film of Barbie from Greta Gerwig, and starring Margot Robbie as the titular Barbie and Ryan Gosling as Ken. Now this new movie brings us to the world of Barbie Land, where all seems to be good and easy and everything seems perfect and pink. That is until our main Barbie, which is weird because everyone in the world is named Barbie or Ken, which is a bit kind of unsettling, besides maybe Alan and Midge, has a form of an existential crisis and unsure of how it happened, and soon sets off for the real world to find out her answers. And our simple-minded Ken tags along on the journey and soon will discover that maybe life in plastic might not be so fantastic. Now, the hype for this movie was huge, and added with the other big release of this week, which we'll talk about briefly next, that gave us the big return of Barbenheimer. And in terms of reception, this movie seems to have gotten some really great praise. So if you're looking to check this out, there sure is not much of a hassle anyway. I know I'll probably be seeing this either tomorrow or Monday with my girlfriend, so let's see how that turns out. Now, going from a Barbie girl in a Barbie world to becoming Death, the destroyer of worlds, we have the all-new historical drama film from acclaimed director Christopher Nolan with Oppenheimer, which tells the tale of J. Robert Oppenheimer, the father of the atomic bomb and the creation that went on during the Manhattan Project and ushered in the atomic age. Now, this film is stacked with talent as well, including Cillian Murphy, Emily Blunt, Robert Downey Jr., Florence Pugh, Matt Damon, Kenneth Branagh, Rami Malek, and many other big names to tally. And the reception, similar to Barbie, has also been highly well praised for its scope, its writing, its performances, and the messaging that comes from the film. Now, I for one am excited to be checking this out as well, and I'll be trying to get it on the biggest screen possible, either in the form of an IMAX screening or a 70mm screening, because I know there's one somewhere in town that has it. So I'll definitely be checking this out when I can. And of our final release of this week, if you're looking for more something that's less pink and less world-destroying, and want something a bit more peaceful and on a cosmic level on a miniature scale, then I wouldn't shy away from checking out the 4th mainline official entry in the long-running Pikmin franchise from Nintendo, that will see you taking control of your own unique space captain that you can create yourself, and go on a journey to a strange and a world that looks similar to our own as you try and go and save Captain Olimar and the rest of the space crew that have gotten themselves stranded on this new strange world, with the help of the little flower alien beings, a little alien dog this time around, to explore this world and save your friends. Now, like the other new releases this week, and of the previous Pikmin games as well, this has also been getting some great reception. Now, it's been seen as a great step forward to the series, both in keeping it fresh, while also not straying away from the originals that made it so beloved. Now, I'm sure I'll play this as well, probably will play this, get the 1 and 2 games when they come out in September, and get Pikmin free when I get the chance, but definitely something that I'll stick on, play for relaxing time and adventure. And with that, of course, that is the end of the new releases for this week. Now, our first trailer of this week is coming to us from visionary director Gareth Edwards, the director of Rogue One and 2014's Godzilla. And he's back again with an all-new sci-fi epic known simply as The Creator, which tells the story of an ex-Special Forces agent in the near future who is tasked to hunt down and eliminate the Creator, who has created a mysterious and dangerous weapon that has the power to end the war and humanity itself. Now, from the trailer that you can see here, and what I've seen of it as well, is that it does look really stylized and really cool. And I could definitely see the Star Wars aesthetic has really rubbed off on Gareth Edwards since then. But I'm sure we'll definitely be checking this out when it releases in just a little over 2 months' time on September 29th. Next up on the trailers is the studio that holds the highest grossing movie of this year, and it's coming to us from Illumination, with another new movie coming out this Christmas entitled Migration. They'll focus on a family group of mallards as they decide to take a trip of a lifetime from New England all the way through New York and make it all the way to Jamaica, just for a nice vacation. Now, it's a simple premise for sure, and I will say a lot of the environments they show in the trailers and the animation looks really nice and stylized, and it does seem wonders to look at. I'm sure this will be sort of a harmless film to watch as a family when it releases just in time for Christmas of this year. Now, if you're for a little bit of a spooky vibe and a return to another series of films that has had just its second film released early last year, we have the all-new Hercule Poirot movie, Haunting in Venice. This sees Kenneth Branagh return as the stylized big mustachio detective as he takes on a strange murder and a goings-on at a seance in Venice, Italy during the season of Halloween. And it has some big names including Tina Fey, Michelle Yeoh, and a lot of other big names in that as well. Now, I did enjoy the last two movies, and they do make some pretty decent adaptations of the Agatha Christie novels. Sure, they're not like the perfect ones, but it does look interesting and very stylized. I'm sure I will definitely check this out when it releases in time, just in about 2 months' time on September 15th. Now, next up is an all-new look at another new video game movie adaptation, and this is coming to us from the PlayStation series of Gran Turismo. Now, this will see the actual true story of Jan Mardenborough, a Gran Turismo player that sees him entering and winning contests to gain car sponsorships and soon train to become a real professional car racer. Now, it doesn't look as bad as I was thinking of how they can make a film on something that had not much of a plot or characters in use anyway, and the first trailer was decent, and this one doesn't look too bad as well, and I'm sure I probably might give this a look when I have the chance, when it releases just in 3 weeks' time on August 11th. Now, coming to us from what we can get from the Comic-Con panel, this is coming to us with an all-new story trailer for the upcoming Insomniac Games' series of Spider-Man 2. Now, this new one shows our heroes teaming up again to protect the city of New York and many other areas, including Brooklyn and Queens, from the many new threats, including the Lizard, Kraven the Hunter, and of course the poster villain for this game, Venom. Now, the story and the update styles, the world and characters on PS5 look fantastic. And I, for one, am excited to play this game when it drops in about 3 months' time on October 20th. But it wasn't the only thing that was announced at this convention, as we also got the announcement of this super nice PS5 design. The first for the actual console as well, besides just basic colors. And the matching controller to go with it as well. And you'll be able to buy it and play it for yourself, either in full console form or just the base formats, from September 1st. Now, this next one is a bit of an oddity, but if you were on Twitter about 6 years ago and followed a certain user on it from BuzzFeed, you would know there was a certain story that he created about him being haunted by a particular small child with a big dent in his head named David. And for what it's worth, and even to this day, even amongst the cesspool that is Twitter, it is still one of the most well done and creepiest stories on the platform, with some quite scary visual evidence here. It's really unsettling. Well, now Hollywood has decided to take its simplification in it with Lionsgate and BuzzFeed Studios. Yes, BuzzFeed's involved with this, with a new adaptation of Dear David itself. Now, this new one is basically trying to take the same aspects of the original story, but sucking the life out of it, because it's very different to what I remember of the story. It's sort of half-baked, there's minimal spooks, and the most circle jerk I've ever seen for the studio BuzzFeed. Now, it could be a possible hope it could be good, as it's from the director of the surprisingly entertaining zombie musical Anna and the Apocalypse. But right now, it's looking pretty rough, and if you want to check it out, then it releases on Friday the 13th of October, just in time for the same day as another horror movie, The Exorcist. And our final trailer for this week is coming to us from the MCU, as we have gotten an all-new trailer for the Captain Marvel sequel, The Marvels. Now, this new one sees Carol Danvers, or Captain Marvel, Monica Rambeau, or Proton, and Kamala Khan, or Miss Marvel, teaming up to stop this intergalactic villain that has manipulated their light energy powers, and it causes them to swap around places and locations with possible dangerous circumstances. And soon they must learn to go higher, further, and faster together as a team. Now, I'm sure as the last Captain Marvel did, or most pundits on YouTube that whines when a film is led by a woman, this will become, complained about. But in all honesty, it just doesn't look too bad. It actually looks a bit of fun, and I'm sure I'll definitely check this out, and you can too when it releases on November 10th of this year. With that is the end of the trailers for this week. Right, so let's get to the news stories of this week. And our first one is technically from last week, but it was leaning more to the start this week, so I'm going to count it as this week. This is coming to us from music composer Gustavo Santanola, who is well known for his music of the award-winning games of The Last of Us Part 1 and 2, as well as the HBO series adaptation. Now, he may have let slip of something that might be coming out really soon. Now, during an interview with a Spanish publication, I'm not entirely sure which one, Gustavo talked on his cameo appearance in Part 2. Particularly at the beginning of Part 2, you can find him in the Jackson encampment. But he also may have let slip that there's a new version of this game coming on its way and in development. Now, presumably this is probably just a PC port or a PS5 update version with all new features and added content. As he mentioned in his upcoming version, you can walk up to his character requesting to play specific songs for him to play from the album of the game, which you couldn't do in the last one. You can only just say hello to him. Now, this could be a rumored Part 2 remaster port as well, with some fixed or changed elements from the original that could, alleviate people's fans, or possibly even a possible tease of Part 3, if that is coming, but we have no idea right now. All we have left is speculate. But what do you think of these rumors? And would you play the game again on PS5 or PC if you've played already? Or do you think there will be a Part 3 of the game? Do let me know what you think down below in the comments. Now some news from a galaxy far, far away, with some news of the series that has been announced about 5 years ago and has been very quiet about it. And that's the series focused on Lando Calrissian, with a version of the character that was played by Donald Glover in 2018's Solo, a Star Wars story. Now recently there was some concern the series had been silently cancelled because we hadn't heard anything over the last little while. But that was confirmed by Kathleen Kennedy earlier this year that the series was still in development. However, this is now come into case by earlier this week that the writer of the series, Justin Simien, who also did Dear White People on Netflix, has specified that he has no idea when the series will finally become an actual thing, as he has not been updated about it by Disney since 2020, when they announced that the series was in development. Now, there may have been some factors to the whole thing, as one is due to scheduling conflicts and planning out the series and films for the future, which explain to focus a lot more on The Mandalorian, Boba Fett, Andor, Obi-Wan, all the other Star Wars series currently for that, and possibly case with Glover busy with other stuff, including movies, his own music since he is Childish Gambino, and of course right now he's currently trying to work on the Community movie, which also leads into the second one, the current strike with the actors and writers, because that's affected a lot of productions right now, including the likes of Deadpool and Gladiator and all the other content like shows and movies, that it's probably going to have this delayed for a good bit more time. Now, I feel like it probably will eventually come out. I'm thinking maybe the next year or two, because we don't know about, there hasn't been anything with Star Wars related for next year, so they could, but depending on how well this strike goes and if studios can actually give a shit about their writers and actors and give them a fair wage and not just go off and buy themselves a fuck you house and a fuck you yacht. No, it would be good. But what do you think of all this? Do you feel this series will still come out at some point? Or will it get cancelled for a good bit of time and then act like it never happened? Do let me know what you think down below in the comments. Now on the next story is coming to us for another adaptation that has been sort of known for a bit, and I think was filmed about nearly 2 years ago, but has been very admin and quiet for a while. And that is the upcoming film adaptation of the video game series of Borderlands. Now, we've known of some of the big names in the cast of this film, including Cate Blanchett, Jack Black, Jamie Lee Curtis, and Kevin Hart. And in most cases, the film has been made about 2 years ago at this point, but we've had no idea when the film was coming out. That was until earlier this week at Comic-Con, when they finally announced a brand new official release date for the movie. Now, the movie isn't coming out this year, it's coming out in a year's time, just over a little year's time, on August 9th, 2024. Now, not much else was shown except for a basic tie-dye poster with the logo, the release date, and all the cast lists, like the most known names on it. But I get they don't want to show too much for the general audience until probably later. They may have probably shown footage at the convention, but who knows at this rate. There hasn't been really much talk about it since just the announcement of the release date. But what do you think? Are you excited for a movie adaptation of Borderlands, or did you even know there was an adaptation coming out of it? Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. Let's have a discussion about it. Now, for the next story, we're taking a dive over to the remains of the DC Extended Universe and look at the Fishman himself, Aquaman. Now, it is hard to believe, but some of you may have forgotten we are getting a sequel to the original Aquaman movie this Christmas. Well, depending. And it has been very quiet for a little while now. The last news of this being told that the test audiences from the film have dubbed this the worst DC movie ever, which is hard to say when you've had so many really rough films. Things seem a bit murky and drying up. Well, it was just announced earlier this week that they had tried to try and save grace, that they have apparently done a third wave of reshoots for the movie that just filmed last month, which is just 6 months out from release. Now, this is mainly due with the aspect of the cameo from the Caped Crusader of Batman, as it was unknown whether it was going to be Michael Keaton, then it was Ben Affleck, and now supposedly it's been cut out. Another question people are wondering on is if a certain actress is still in this movie, given the case that over 4 million people wanted her out of the movie, and there's been very disdain on the internet about it. But we'll have to see what happens whenever there's some footage or trailers released, and if it releases this year at all, because apparently there might be a case that the strike might cause Dune, this, and Color Purple be delayed out into next year, but we'll have to see what happens. But what do you think? Do you feel that Aquaman's going to make a splash, or he's going to flip-flop out of the water and make a splat? Do let me know what you think down below, and I apologize for all of those fish puns. And our final news story coming to us from Comic-Con is also a brand new look at one of the upcoming titles from the world of video games, and that is with the new Mortal Kombat game, Mortal Kombat 1. Now, there was an official trailer released for this game there as well, showing off, I think, some new characters or returning characters that were in the story of the campaign, but this one suddenly just caught more of my interest, and that is with the DLC Kombat Pack, which usually is a DLC pack consisting of 6 fighters from other series as well as the actual series itself. And last night we got the official announcement of the 6 character roster that's coming for Kombat Pack 1. In this we have some familiar faces from the series including Ermac, Takeda, and Quan Chi, but we also got the confirmation of some characters from 3 different series. First, we have is Omni-Man from the Amazon series of Invincible. Next is Peacemaker from the DC Comics and the one that was seen from the recent Suicide Squad and Peacemaker series. Maybe a possible assist fight from Eagly, but it's unknown right now. And lastly, Homelander from The Boys are all making up the Fighter's Pass. Now, it's unclear if this is just more than, if there's going to be one pass, but most likely there probably will be, because all the other ones recently have had at least about 2 to 3 Fighters Passes. But the selection is pretty good, and I'm sure it'll probably be fun to try out, and some might be overp, but I'm gonna take they're gonna even them out some way. But what do you think of all these character announcements? Are you excited for them? And if there are more Kombat Pack characters, who would you want to see coming along to Mortal Kombat 1? Do let me know what you think down in the comments below. And with that, of course, that is the end of the news for this week. Now, I want to give a special segment shout out this week to my one and only Starlight, my lovely girlfriend Michaela. As the time this video goes out, it will be on her birthday on Monday, and I just want to wish her a really very happy birthday. And over the course of just 2 years now, you have made me so very happy and loved and cared for with how caring and kind and adorable you really are. I know I'm not perfect. I know I've made some mistakes, small, big, and all sort of forms of mistakes over the past 2 years. But I know that happens, and people learn from them and improve at every passing day. And I know I will be there for you from the day we first talked to the day we first met each other in person, all the way until the end of time, and even beyond the end, as I will always love you, my special Starlight. And it's a case as well that I want to give a special mention shout out with this, because I want to show off some of her work that she's created over the last few months in the forms of her free model pieces she's made, because they're very well made. She's created them all herself. They're very intricate, they're detailed, they're beautifully done, and she's just put so much love and effort into her work, and it would be a great thing for others to check them out. And even if you like any of them, to even purchase one for them for yourself, as they are perfect to have as a nice little item to look at when you're feeling a little bit gloom and you want to look at some inspiration, or even use as an asset in something. As long as you credit her, of course, because she deserves all the credit for all of her work she's done. And you can check out all the images here that I'm going to have here. And if you want to check out some of her actual work, you can check it down in the link description to her Sketchfab. And hopefully you will, benefit her, because she deserves it.
Now I am become death, the destroyer of worlds.
Now with that, of course, that brings us to the end of episode 9 of Weird Mind Newsroom. Now, I've hoped you enjoyed listening to me rambling for, I'd say, about probably 15-20 minutes, give or take, by the time I edit this down. Could be shorter. But yeah, I hope you enjoyed listening to me while I talk about the releases. And I'd love to hear what you think of all the new releases, the trailers, and all the news stories we discussed. And I want to have a good discussion with you down in the comments about anything you enjoyed. And of course, as well, if you enjoyed this video, you know the usual. You give it a like. You can comment down below all the discussion points, share around to people that you might think might be interested in it, and, even subscribe. And I want to just at least thank all those people that have, subscribed to me, even if it's just 27 subscribers right now. I appreciate every single one of you for at least subscribing, giving me a chance. I know I have a long journey ahead of me to still be, successful, but it's gonna happen anyway. In relation to other content, I will try and do reviews for the upcoming 2 movies that are out this week. I do have 1 or 2 reviews of mine I still need to write. I have a video essay I want to work on, which is about adaptations of video games, so I might try and do that next, depending. It'll probably take me a while because it is a lengthy bit, but that's basically all I have for the moment. So unless you have any other ideas you want me to see videos on, like video essays or anything like that, do let me know what you think do let me know in the comments below, and I'll try and make them as well. It might be interesting, so even just in general, I might make them for you. But as always, that is all I have for this week. I'd like to thank you all for watching, and you stay being wonderful people. And I will see you all in the next video that I post. Take care, everyone.